She drank black coffee every morning. No sugar, no milk. At 6 in the morning before anything else. He did this for 70 years straight. He died at the age of 104. He drank coffee after dinner every day until he was 96. He slept well. He walked every day. He died of old age, not of illness. And there's more. Jean Comment, the oldest woman in recorded history, at 122 years old, smoked, ate chocolate, and drank coffee regularly. Now answer me one thing. If coffee really was the silent poison that the modern internet so often proclaims, how exactly did these people get there? How did a habit that destroys your health survive in the daily lives of the longest-lived generations in human history? This contradiction is not small. It's enormous. And that's exactly what this video will investigate. Because maybe the problem was never the coffee. Perhaps the problem is the world in which you drink that coffee today. Then coffee. Every generation has its villain. And the problem isn't that these studies are false. The problem is what they leave out. When a study says that coffee increases cortisol, it's right. When it says that it can temporarily raise blood pressure, it's also right. When it says that excessive consumption impairs sleep, it's correct. But these studies almost never show the complete subject. They show an isolated variable within a laboratory. And your body is not a laboratory. Your body is a living system, shaped by decades of stress, sleep, movement, food, relationships, purpose. The grandmother who drank coffee every day wasn't just a caffeine consumer. She was someone who went to bed early, who was active all day, who ate real food, who had a community, who had a routine, who didn't spend the day staring at a screen consuming bad news. Coffee existed within a completely different context, and this context changes everything. None of them spent hours reading scientific studies about what they could or couldn't eat. They simply lived with rhythm, with purpose, with presence, and many of them drank coffee. What these populations had in common was not a perfect diet. It was a set of conditions that created an internal environment conducive to longevity. Natural movement throughout the day. Not the gym. Movement. Walking. Carrying things. Working with your body. Simple food, without packaging, without an ingredient list you can't pronounce. Sleep is respected as sacred, non-negotiable. Daily social interaction, not likes. Physical presence, eye contact, sharing meals, and a relationship with time that is completely different from ours. They didn't live in the future with anxiety. They didn't live in the past with guilt. They lived in the present moment. Now think about it. When you drink coffee today, what biological environment does it fall into? Did you sleep well? Are you chronically stressed? Did you move around today? Did you eat real food earlier? Or is the coffee being poured into a body that's already at its limit, already inflamed, already exhausted, and still needs to function? Because that difference, that's where the whole story changes. It really helps the channel and ensures more people see this content. And tell me in the comments, who was the oldest person you knew who drank coffee every day? A body that is rested, active, nourished with real food, socially connected with a clear purpose. That body processes coffee in a completely different way than a body that is inflamed, sedentary, sleep-deprived, lonely, and anxious. Caffeine doesn't work in a vacuum. It enters a system, and the system matters more than the substance. It's like throwing a spark into a wet field or a dry field. The spark is the same. The result is completely different. So if coffee wasn't the problem, what was? Look at what has changed in recent decades and pay attention. The grandmother who drank black coffee at 6 in the morning didn't drink coffee with vanilla syrup, processed whipped cream, artificial sweetener, or food coloring. She drank coffee. Just coffee. The coffee consumed by the longest-lived generation was simple, dark, without any artificial food engineering surrounding it. What we call coffee today, in most cases, is an ultra-processed beverage with coffee as a garnish. But that's not even the biggest problem. The biggest problem is the environment in which modern coffee exists. Today, people wake up late, already stressed, with their cell phones in hand, already consuming bad information, with elevated cortisol levels even before getting out of bed. They drink coffee on an empty stomach after a long period without having slept properly. They spend the day sitting down. They eat ultra-processed foods. They have no real community. Their biological rhythm is not respected. And then they blame the coffee for their anxiety. But the anxiety was already there before the first drop. Coffee only accelerated what the lifestyle had already built. Cortisol is the stress hormone. It exists to save you in situations of real danger. The problem is that the modern body lives as if danger were constant. Bad news, deadlines, debt comparison, loneliness, noise, artificial light at night, fragmented sleep. When you add caffeine on top of that, you're not drinking coffee. You're throwing fuel on a fire that was already too hot. Grandma didn't live like that. She had a rhythm. Her body knew when it was time to wake up, when it was time to eat, when it was time to rest. Coffee fit into a predictable routine, in a system that was, most of the time, in balance. Balance does not mean perfection. It means the body had room to recover. And recovery is the secret that nobody talks about when the subject is longevity. It's not what you consume. It's how much space you give your body to process what you've consumed. There is also a factor that almost no one mentions when talking about longevity: the emotional relationship with food and habits. Grandma didn't drink coffee with guilt. She didn't drink coffee thinking about a study she saw yesterday saying that coffee kills. She drank coffee because it was part of her life. It was a ritual. It was a simple pleasure. It was a moment of silence before the day began. And this matters biologically. When you consume anything with pleasure and calmness, your nervous system is in a completely different state than when you consume it with guilt and anxiety. Digestion changes. Absorption changes. The hormonal response changes. Modern paranoia about food has created a generation that is afraid to eat. A generation that spends more time calculating what they can't consume than actually living. And the stress generated by this obsession can be more damaging than any food you are trying to avoid. Moderation has always been the answer. Moderation is not seen as weakness. Moderation is seen as ancestral biological wisdom. The longest-lived generations weren't perfect. They ate fatty foods, drank coffee, drank wine, and ate bread. But they did so in moderation, with mindfulness, and within a context. Context is everything. Leave a like if you've made it this far, and share this video with someone who lives in fear of eating. That person needs to hear this. If you get quality sleep, if you move around throughout the day, if you eat food your grandmother would recognize as food, if you have real relationships, if you have purpose, if your biological rhythm is respected, coffee probably won't kill you. Quite the opposite. But if you sleep poorly, live with chronic stress, eat ultra-processed foods, are sedentary, are lonely, are anxious, are inflamed inside, coffee will amplify that state. Not because coffee is poison, but because you were already crying out for help and added another stimulus to a system that was already overloaded. The problem was never the coffee. The problem was the world we built around him. A world that doesn't sleep, that doesn't rest, that doesn't move, that doesn't connect, that has no rhythm, that lives in a permanent state of emergency. And then they look for a single food to blame for all of it. The generation that lived to be 100 years old wasn't perfect. It was simple, it had rhythm, it had presence, it had community, it had movement, it had real food, and he drank coffee. Not as a health performance indicator, as a natural part of a balanced life. Think about that the next time you hold your cup in the morning. Don't think about the coffee. Think about the atmosphere you've created around it. Because it's this environment that will define how you age. Not a single substance, not a single habit, not a single choice. Longevity is not found in a forbidden food or a miracle supplement. It is the sum of small, simple things done consistently over decades. Sleep, movement, real food, community, purpose, rhythm, and perhaps a black coffee in the morning enjoyed calmly, without guilt, before the day begins. Just like your grandmother used to do. Like so many centenarians have done, perhaps you could do it too. It will delve deeper into exactly what we've discussed here about longevity and the real habits of generations that have aged well. See you there.